Or let me ask you a question. Who do you think is having the best playoffs so far?
Individual or
yeah,
team?
Individual.
Individually, who's having the best playoffs so far? First name that comes to mind, Steph Curry.
That's exactly where I was going. He is playing some unbelievable basketball right now.
He's putting his name on the map. No question about it. What did he drop? 22 last night in the third quarter?
Well, maybe in the third quarter, yeah. I know
he
won for the game.
He was 1 for 3 for 3 points in the first half. And then drops 22 in the third quarter to go on a nutty run for Golden State. Golden State, after losing game 1, has now won 3 in a row and is heading back to Denver to possibly close it out. Which
to me would be unbelievable if they were able to beat Denver twice at home in this playoff series. When Denver had lost 3 games at home all year going into the playoffs. They lose 3 games at home all year long. And they're going to get beat twice by a team that has a worse record than they do at home. After they lose the second best player on their roster in David Lee. I got to give a lot of props to Steph Curry. He's really keeping that team on track, playing great. And they needed him to do that. They needed him to step up.
Yeah, well, yeah, you did. And, I mean, Steph Curry's always been a guy that we've known. I mean, he dropped, 50-something in the Garden earlier in the year. You know, I mean, it's a situation where you're just – I mean, me personally, like, I'm not surprised that he's doing it. I'm more just impressed.
Yeah. And it's the way he's doing it, not just scoring, but assists as well. I believe 2 of the 4 games so far – I think he had 1 game where he had 11 assists. He had 13 in another. He had 7 in another. He's doing it by distributing as well as scoring himself. It's not like he's just a get the ball and shoot it every time kind of guy. It's the fact that he's being that facilitator they need him to be and adding the scoring. It's pretty awesome to watch.
Steph Curry actually is a lot of fun to watch.
He's a little guy. I actually root for Steph Curry. I do. I like Steph Curry.
I like him too.
I've grown to like him.
And I hate Duke, and I even like his younger
brother. I liked
him
in college, but I was like, in the pros, I don't know how his game's going to translate. He's a little small. So I was like always weary of him, and then he started off pretty good, and he was always a really good three-point shooter, and I was like, but the three-point thing could fade. Maybe he just becomes that specialty guy. Or just becomes
a niche, yeah.
Yeah, just a niche guy. It's a 3 guy. But to see him develop a full game like this and be able to pass and be able to score and be able to do everything on the court the way that a guard's supposed to be able to do it and not just be that niche guy, you're right, dude. He is a lot of fun to watch.
And you know what? And the craziest part about it is, and I always love pointing this out about basketball, is that when you see guys like Stephon Curry, the thing you have to realize is that he still isn't as good as he's going to be. He's still only in like his 4th or 5th year in the NBA. He's still got another year or 2 of really growing and, fully being the NBA player he'll be for the rest of his career. It's not like football where within your first year or 2 you have a pretty decent understanding of what this man is for his NFL career and, what he's going to be. And I look at him and he's in that class with like a Kyrie Irving where they're the baby superstars. Like they're gonna be superstars. Barring any catastrophic injury or something drastic like that taking place, these guys are going to be the faces of the NBA for years and years to come. Now, will they ever surpass the LeBron and the Durant? No, but that's because these guys just weren't blessed with 6'8", 6'10" body frames, yet still just as fast and athletic. They just is what it is. But will they be some of the best at what they do? No question about it. Will they be guys that will win games for their team single-handedly? No question about it. And they're going to do it consistently. And I think what you're seeing right now with Golden State being up 3-1 against Denver is that no matter how good of a team you have in the regular season, if you do not have a superstar that can take over for you in a playoff game, your odds of advancing in the playoffs are very, very slim. Denver is a team filled with role players. Some very good role players, still role players. Andre Iguodala was the star in Philly, yet he still wasn't a star. You know, Kenneth Faried is becoming a star in Denver. He's still not a star.
And that's the biggest thing about them all year is that they were able to win despite having a star. Despite having that go-to guy or the face of the franchise. It's what fueled them, actually, I believe, through their long run where they won all those games in a row. Was it 17?
I think so,
15?
I think they reached 15.
Might have been 15.
The Clippers did 17.
Yeah. It's what propelled them at home. That people cheered for the team and just didn't cheer for an individual. But now they're in the playoffs, and they just don't seem to have that same mentality about them. Maybe it's just them coming back down to earth, too. Because nobody looked at this team and said, this is a team that's going to go on a 15-game run. This is a team that's going to be 38-3 at home. Maybe they're coming back down to reality. Coming back down to where everybody else saw them a good team, but not a great team.
Yeah. And I think there's a very, very good chance of that. And I think when you watch this team play, I do think they're a good team. I do. I don't want to take that away from Denver at all because I do think they're a good team. I just think that they're a team that doesn't have that star to carry them when it's tight and they need a basket. Not like, well, we could use one. No, like they need a basket. And I don't think they have that one guy that they trust to get it for them. Where Golden State has been relying on Curry and he's been stepping up. And you watch this series and I'm very shocked that it's at 3-1 Golden State. I am very, very shocked by that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, do I think Denver could push this all the way to a Game 7? I actually do believe they can. I don't think they're going to, but I believe that they can. I would not be surprised if it happens. But what I'm watching Stephon Curry do right now is just very, very impressive. Probably the most entertaining. This has probably been the most fun series, even though it's at 3-1 right now. Probably one of the most fun series each game to watch so far. Because even with a big lead, each team's going on these runs. I mean, I put it on last night. Denver's down 11. I leave the station for like maybe 5 minutes. And I come back and Denver's only down 1. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those series where they are very back and forth. They're both fast-paced teams. I think Golden State takes it in Game 6. When they get back to Golden State, I think Denver stays alive in Game 5. But I'm shocked that Golden State's even up 3-1. I did not see that coming when I came into the series. But Stephon Curry's just dominating, doing what he's got to do, put his team on his shoulders. David Lee went down. He said, don't worry, I got this. He's doing his thing. He had that mirror moment. You know, we always talk about our mirror moment. Well, he looked in the mirror and said, you know what? Out of the two teams that are playing in this series, I'm the best guy on the whole entire court, and I'm going to show it to all of you.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what he's done. He really has.